Hello, guys, and welcome to the Notebook episode 2. I was going to say part 2 then, I forgot that these are episodes. So, where to begin? Oh my word. So, I want to say the first episode that I posted, I'm sorry if that was a bit rushed. I didn't really, I did have notes and stuff, but everything was sort of rushed together. However, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot a little bit because this episode is literally just me talking off my own knowledge, because I had to come on and give my opinion of the game that we just witnessed on Wednesday. So this is my reaction of what I think of the game against Croatia, England versus Croatia in Dallas in Texas. I did say in episode 1 that I would give my response, my reaction to that game. So yeah, I just thought I'd give you my knowledge. I haven't actually, even though it's called the World Cup Notebook, I haven't actually written anything down. But oh my words, are we looking good? I don't want to say England are just going to go and, go away with the tournament and win it, but we are looking like we can do some damage at the very least. I'm still a little bit concerned about teams like France, maybe even Spain, but obviously Spain had a pretty terrible start, drawing their game. God, I've forgotten who they played now. What's going on with my knowledge? Spain played Cape Verde. That's probably why I've forgotten who they played, because I don't think Cape Verde have ever actually been in a World Cup, not that I know of, or not that I've seen. So it's an unbelievable achievement that was for Cape Verde to draw that game and get a point out of it. All right, they didn't win. They had chances actually. Very at the end, they had a really good chance to score, but most of the game obviously Spain were all over them in terms of possession. They had lots of shots. Cape Verde's goalkeeper was outrageous in that game, and he sort of saved them. So, but there's no jeopardy for Spain. It looks like they'll still go through, obviously, depending on what happens in their next results. But England are just looking amazing. And like I say, yeah, our biggest rivals are sort of like Brazil, Spain, France. Germany looking okay, but there's still some holes in their game. And of course, Argentina, maybe even Portugal as well. Talking of Portugal, I don't think Ronaldo should start for Portugal. I think Martinez is making a big mistake. I think he's being a bit of a coward, is maybe a way to word it. He's a good manager, but he's too scared of the fear of basically leaving him out of the squad. Ronaldo is, of course, one of the greatest of all time in the sport of football, but that doesn't mean he is that elite anymore at his age of, I think he's 41 now. He's way over the hill playing in the Saudi league, but he's just not the goal scorer he once was. Yes, you might want to bring him on if, let's say they're dominating a game, Portugal. You could bring Ronaldo on to, just for the sake of the fact that it's him. It'll be good for the fans and see what he can do. And it's sort of like you can't go wrong then if they're winning by quite a bit of a margin. But if Ronaldo, let's say they're a couple goals down, I wouldn't bring Ronaldo on either. But if it's a close game, maybe in the last 20 minutes, maybe it's an option. But yeah, I personally think he's just a bit over the hill and generally just not as good as the other options anymore, unfortunately. Which is sad to say, but he's still a legend and will be one of my favourite players of all time. Anyway, getting back to England. So the score was 4-2 against Croatia. Oh, as mentioned in episode 1, Croatia have got some brilliant players. They didn't actually play Kovacic in the end, so there was some sort of surprise selection in that lineup. Thomas Tuchel wasn't expecting them to not play him. I'm quite surprised Tuchel didn't play Gahey at the back. Not sure what his thought process was then. However, the best players the best coaches in the world, that includes Tuchel, make the best decisions. And yeah, he made a mistake with possibly the starting lineup, but then he rectified it very quickly in the second half. And what a second half that was. The first half, we just looked kind of a little bit like the old England under Southgate, a little bit nervy, made quite a few mistakes, passing the ball backwards and sideways. We just didn't look at the races, and I think we needed to move the ball faster. We needed to drive forward and have that kind of that bite about us like we had against Costa Rica. We needed that kind of performance again, and play a bit like a Premier League side and a bit like an Arsenal side or a Man City. And in that second half, oh my God, did we do that and more. Kane showed what he can do, world-class talent, and I've never liked Kane more. He is just one of the greatest England players we've ever had, the greatest goal scorer for England, the best striker in my opinion we've ever had, better than Rooney and Shearer and Lineker and all these legends. The list goes on as well. But yeah, what a performance from England. It could have easily been 6-2, to be honest. To be fair, Croatia's goals were quite good as well, but we needed to be better defensively. I think Thomas Tuchel mentioned as well that at one point I think we had like 7 at the back, and we still let them score. So we just needed to play with freedom. We needed just to let go of the fear, and that's what we did. And we need to now carry that on in the next games, because we are looking like the team to beat. And I actually think that was possibly, for a neutral, one of the best, if not the best game of the whole tournament so far. And we had one of the biggest score lines, 4 goals against Croatia, especially, and a bigger score line compared to like the other games of the top teams. So that's interesting. In fact, let's have a look at the Obviously Germany won 7-1, but they were playing Curacao, so they were expected to get demolished really, and they definitely delivered on that. Yeah, so the France game against Senegal was only 3-1, so we put 4 past. I would say as well, it's worth mentioning that Croatia are probably the best team outside of the top ranked sides. They're just below sort of all those big sort of 6 nations, like the Brazils, the Argentinas and the Frances and the Spains. They're just sort of a little bit outside of that. They're probably the best outside of those teams. So to beat them in the way that we did, like I say, it could have been more goals, was really, really good. And there's no debating now that Bellingham must start instead of Rodgers in the number 10. I'm surprised it was up for debate, to be honest. I thought Rodgers, if he was going to start, he'd play on the left. I know his main starting position is at number 10, I am aware of that, but I think he could have started. I just can't see him starting over Bellingham. I think Bellingham virtually needs to play every game now, because he's just hopefully don't get injured. If he does, I think we're going to lose. Same with Kane as well. I think if Kane gets injured and he can't play, forget about it. I can't see us winning the World Cup, but you never know. But I think Kane is just so important for us. He's just I can't put into words how good he is. He's like the very best in the world, like Messi, Kane, Haaland, and Mbappe. They show when it comes to on the world stage in its biggest moments what they really are all about, and it's about scoring for your country in the high pressure, highest level games, and that's what they do time and time again. And that's what Kane has just showed, because that he can compete with these guys. He could get into basically any team. But yeah, also we have to obviously talking about one of those players being Messi. Messi scoring a hat-trick against Algeria. He has still got it. For all the Messi doubters that were thinking, is he a bit over the hill himself playing in the MLS? can he still perform on the world stage in front of everyone at the highest level? And he's showing he's just sort of almost carrying over his form from Qatar in the previous World Cup, and they are a team to beat as well, ones to watch going into the tournament. It's possible that actually England could... God, my nose is getting all blocked up again. It's possible that England could actually get Argentina in the semi-final. So that will be very interesting to see if we do play Argentina in the semi-final, and if we can beat them, because I think any team looking at England at the moment are going, this is a team we do not want to be playing, no matter who you are. And I definitely think we can get the best of Argentina. I think for the most part we got a better squad than them, but obviously they do have the likes of Messi, and that is also scary as well. And they could score goals against us, but we can also score a lot of goals against them, and hopefully more. The biggest team I'm worrying about is, for me personally, it's just my opinion, is the French side. I think we've got a better midfield. We've got one of the best midfields in the world. In my opinion, we probably have the second best, second to Portugal's midfield. But I think France on their day could quite easily cause us a lot of problems with the likes of Michael Olise, who I mentioned in the first episode, that just outrageous attack that, of course, France have. And Mbappe's not even meant to be their best player, because obviously Ousmane Dembele's won the Ballon d'Or, so they got a Ballon d'Or winner that's not even Mbappe. So yeah, but their midfield for me is just not quite the same level as England, and their back line as well has holes in it. So we could punish France, but I also think they can punish us. So that'd be a very good game. I think if we do meet them, it's likely to be the final. So what a final that would be. But yeah, the other thing I mentioned, almost forgot, that I forgot to talk about in episode 1, is the players that I should have. I touched on it a bit. The players that I think in episode 1, but I think the players that should go to should have gone to the World Cup for England. So for me, Harry Maguire should have gone instead of Burn. I'm quite surprised Dan Burner's gone, but obviously it's just a backup centre mid option. But I think Harry Maguire's just been so good for England, and just his headering ability. So that was a bit of a weird option. The other one is Luke Shaw as a backup left back. I don't know why you wouldn't take him. Although his form for Manchester United hasn't been as good as what people make out, but he has been fit and he's been available. And one time he's available for a full season, or one of the times, we don't take him because he wasn't fit in the last Euros. So that's a bit of a weird one. But the one that really shocked me was not taking Palmer, and maybe taking Palmer over Madueke, or even, well, it's about positions, isn't it? But then has Madueke showed us why he was selected? Because he was brilliant in that Croatia side, and he showed what he can do at Arsenal. Usually a second option to Saka, but Saka is again not fully fit, and obviously he came on and showed what he can do. But Madueke looks good. So, but the only thing is with Palmer, I feel like he's a bit of a game changer. He can play left, right, and in the middle, and he just gives us another option that you could have taken him. So it's a bit. I would have liked to see Palmer in the squad, because he shows what he can do when he scored that goal as well in the final in the Euros. Don't forget, he just, at any given moment, he can be just a different level, a bit like a Michael Olise at any given moment. I think Michael Olise is a good one to compare to Palmer, because I think he does it more consistently, but at any given time, Palmer can do the same things that he does. More so than Madueke, in my personal opinion. But he hasn't been as fit either, so there is that. The other one is Trent Alexander-Arnold not playing as a right-back option. I don't think we've got very good right-back options. So I'm a bit surprised that he hasn't gone as well. Obviously, you've got Jed Spence, who actually looked again pretty decent, to be fair, which is good to see because I was very concerned about Jed Spence's how he would be. But he looked really good against Croatia. But it would have been maybe a better decision to have Alexander Arnold for what he can do going forward. It'd be amazing to see that. But yeah. And also he's got a broken jaw, Jed Spence, as well. But yeah, I just think the attack's good for England now. Imagine if you had Trent in there as well, delivering balls into Harry Kane. It'd just be like a different level there. But defensively, obviously, Trent isn't as good as the other options that we've got. So maybe that was all Tuchel's big thought process, if you like. Is there anyone I missed out? Oh yeah, there's also Jordan Henderson. I personally think Adam Wharton should have gone. I think there's no debating that he's definitely a better player at the moment than Jordan Henderson. Obviously, Jordan Henderson considerably older, and Adam Wharton's very young and just does things with the ball that I don't think many England players can do. I think he's more of a holding midfielder and controls possession in that midfield. We don't really have a player quite like him. Maybe Kobbie Mainoo's the closest. I think maybe Anderson, but Anderson likes to sort of attacking-minded midfielder. But obviously Elliot Anderson as well, an honourable mention of how good he was against Croatia and how good he is as a player. Like I say, we've got an unbelievable midfield. But maybe Wharton should have gone instead of Jordan Henderson. But Jordan Henderson is basically just there for pure vibes at this point. And apparently most of the players in the squad will say that they would choose to take him. So that might be why Tuchel went with him. Anyway, I'm rambling on a bit again, so this is I'll wrap it up. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the game against Croatia. It'd be good to see how the boys get on against Ghana on Tuesday. Hope you've enjoyed this podcast, my little analysis. Didn't really make much notes of it, but yeah, I just hope we keep this up now. Come on, England. And it'd be good to also see how everyone gets on in the games going forward. Also, Canada's been pretty good, haven't they, as well? They won 6-0 against Qatar. They also had one of their best players injured, which is a shame to see that. But yeah, there's been some good games and slightly surprising results here and there. But yeah, there's no reason why we can't beat Ghana in the next game for England. Thank you. Bye bye.